So, welcome to Wednesday. Today is the 30th of March 2022. My name is Kwame Osuda. So, I'm full of smiles because today I get to spend my morning with three of my favorites here on the morning show. I'm very excited, very, very excited about this morning. I have been joined in the studios by Honorable Dr. Rashid Pelpu, MP for Wa Central. By the way, Honorable, the gentleman you introduced to us,
Mahmoud.
yeah, I think Mr. Pratt likes him.
Okay.
So he's been invited to come on Alaji and Alaji.
That's great.
Fantastic. And also, I've been joined by the indefatigable MP for Anya Surutu, Dr. Adumako PC. Good morning.
Morning.
Yeah, your head is shining this morning.
It has to. It has to. Ghana has won.
And Ilemi has been passed.
Yes.
And also with us in the studios is our very own, Africa's very own, Ghana's very own, Edgar the Redu. Good morning.
Yeah, my man. Who we listened to when we were in the university.
I'm telling you. he was tiring. Good morning to you, sir.
How are you doing?
We miss you.
Good. Unfortunately, you've not made provision for my tea.
No, your tea is on its way. You know.
It should have been available.
I know. Frank, is he here? It's here. Okay, all right. Yeah.
All right, then,
we want to.
I like the ice chilled tea, not the hot one. The ice chilled tea.
All right. So these are our panelists for our conversation this morning. Be sure to join in the conversation with your messages via our Facebook page, which is Pan African Television. You do know that today we're going to discuss the issues as they are. One, obviously, we need to touch on an African story, but briefly, it relates to food crisis in Africa. We're going to be touching on that briefly. And also, our central focus really will be on the passage of the e-levy, as well as the State of the Nation address. We are all eagerly waiting with bated breath for what the president will be saying to the nation this morning. But also, the Black Stars have qualified for Qatar 2022. We all love Ghana. We love Ghanaian football. Finally, the matter is settled. Ghana Jollof sweet past Nigeria Jollof. Simplicity. All right, so let's go to the African story now, which is a matter which was discussed in Cape Town by Akinwumi Adesina, President, African Development Bank. And he said that Ukraine war could trigger food crisis in Africa. Edgar agrees, but also goes ahead to say that even without the Ukraine war, Africa already has crisis. Edgar, is that the case, please?
Oh, certainly, that is it. I mean, anyway, sorry, good morning to viewers out there. Do you have listeners as well?
Absolutely.
Oh, okay. I mean, you're now on radio or something?
Yeah, we have affiliations.
Oh, you have affiliations, so that's quite an improvement. Pan-Africa, you're doing good.
Thank you, sir.
This one, yeah, I think it was at the blind side. I never saw it.
Right.
I'll be driving and listening, but I didn't know.
Yeah.
Congrats.
Thank you,
my idea.
Thank you, sir.
Yes, of course, viewers. And I mean, come on. I mean, my two brothers. Good to see ya. Good to see you. Yeah, man. You know, these are my main guys.
I know. They are the reason why you were not coming. and they said, if my brothers are not coming, I'm not coming. This matter.
Oh, come on, man.
So even, I know that Dr. Adumako has an added job. But I told you that if you don't come, I'm dead.
Well, anyway, you know, one of the problems is that this Ukraine-Russia war, one very, very unfortunate, but that's the reality. Yes, they have been able to establish themselves as, you know, producers of so many things that the world needs. Unfortunately, Ghanaians have also failed to realize that they have a lot that the world needs. So what is happening in Ukraine, I believe, if it's going to be the eye-opener for us to see that we could also do a lot, that we needn't depend on anybody to make food available for us. I don't think the Ukraine war should be the issue, because you know one funny thing. In 2021, the Ukraine war started, when was it, 24th?
Just about 2 months ago.
Yeah, 24th April, thereabout, okay. And in 2021, when we had the population census, the reports that the population census came out, signed by the professor, indicated that the rate at which our population is growing on a 2.15% basis or something like that, it was going to be difficult to feed the Ghanaian population. It was going to be difficult to provide health care for the Ghanaian population. It's going to be difficult for educational purposes. It's going to be difficult for accommodation, especially matters relating to rent. And these are the issues confronting Ghana today. So it is not even about the Ukraine. Just like the way the government of today wants to blame everything on COVID. It is not about COVID. The system started getting out of hand before COVID. So you see something that if we're not careful, the system is going to crash and it will be disastrous for all of us. The current situation we have on hand, that is why I said that whatever the finance minister put up last Thursday was not, to cushion the Ghanaian, was not to pave a way where we could see, one or two things coming down. But rather, what the minister did was to make sure that they maintain their 7.4% deficit. One interesting thing?
No, sir.
The interesting thing is this. If you look at what the minister said, the steps that they've taken.
Yeah, the measures.
How do they call it? Ministers 30% salary.
Yeah.
I even asked my brother that how much is he contributing, because irrespective of the fact that they are in a different area, the legislature, he's a party man and he should make sure that the party succeed. So even if NDC MPs will not contribute, MPP MPs they should cut down some of their salaries, and even forget their allowances. These people they chop allowance. Do you believe that they even give them cook allowance? You will come to that one. For food soldiers. Big man like that. And why they cook give them, but still they give them cook allowance. We'll get to those issues.
All right.
So the issue that we're discussing is that these are the measures that the minister has put in place. You say what? 50 no importation of 4-wheel drives or something like that. Basically, all those things that is put in place is just to make sure that they achieve the 7.4% deficit. But the interesting thing? The interesting thing is that if this e-levy was passed before the 1st of January, when they presented the budget, these cuts would not have happened.
I think, Edgar, you see the e-levy, I want us to...
No, wait, no. Okay. No, I'm talking... Okay, we'll come to that here, you see. Because, you see, one of the funny things is that those cuts are as a result of the fact that expected revenue that should have come in within the first quarter did not come. And if you still want to maintain your position of I want to enjoy this, you would go over the 7.4% deficit, because what you're expecting did not come. You see? But the issues we are facing today, talking about this food matter, and I've gone beyond the food matter, and I said to you that this is what the 2021 population census report says, and therefore that is crucial for this country. The report says that the rate at which we are growing in this country by way of population, if we are not careful, not that we are not careful, it's like we will not be able to feed the people. And if you cannot feed people, you should know what follows after. Absolutely. The consequential, the rippling problems and all that. Absolutely. You get it? Absolutely. So seriously, right. As I said, forget about Ukraine. The point is, as we sit here, before Ukraine war started, we were having problems with feeding the ordinary Ghanaian. Absolutely. So we have to take a second look at that.
Brilliant. Thank you. Honorable Admiral Kissi.
Well, thanks for having me here, and thanks for what Edgar did to pull us out of the woodworks to come. Today being a very remarkable day where the president is going to talk. There are usually meetings before his speech, but I've exempted myself to honor Edgar's request. I'm happy, and I think we'll commit to try and come on Wednesdays as we used to. That will make me very happy. And I really think that Edgar has made a very sound point in the sense that our food industry needs improvement regardless of the wars in Ukraine. And if we are pushing for self-sufficiency, self-reliance, then our dependence on other nations ought to be reduced. And largely, the Ukraine issue has brought out our deficits or deficiencies in the fertilizer industry. And clearly, looking at our nation, Ghana, and looking at the number of waste managerial problems we have, especially when it comes to excreta, human fecal matter, then we're throwing away billions of dollars, if I should, be right about it, because the management of all these KVIPs in this country is literally a fertilizer operational zone, which we haven't looked at, and it's natural fertilizer for a lot of farm yards, and I really think that as a nation, per this crisis and this problem of fertilizers for our agricultural sector, we need to really sit down carefully with the environment agenda in mind to see how we can rather benefit largely from human excreta in terms of the making of fertilizers, in terms of also the expansion of farms. And I really think that these are some of the things we need to look at. It's almost like my mother going to Indonesia and then realizing that all the things we throw away are being utilized for other things, which then begs the question, what are we waiting for? Do we need another war in another zone to realize that, hey, we don't have enough water? I mean, what are we doing? So I really think that it's a wake-up call, and as a nation, we ought to start thinking carefully about our dependence, and then ought to stop always wanting foreign things. It seems that our want for foreign things is a huge problem, whereby I am sickened to know that people import water from the US. It's just unbelievable. Why would you put water on a flight or on a ship?
People import water from
I'm telling you.
Drinking water.
Drinking water. And these are some of the issues we have as a nation. We ought to put a stop to some of these. It doesn't make sense. Yeah. Why should you import drinking water? I mean, it doesn't make sense. So I really think that these are things we ought to look at. And if I was president, tomorrow, toothpick, we dare not import one from even Morocco. I'm not saying China, even Morocco. I'm just saying that there are certain things that we should firm up as a nation and stop its importation, at all costs, even if it burns some bridges somewhere. Because I really think that those are all room for employment. You know, toothpick production can create jobs for some people. The selling of toothpicks can create jobs for some people. There's so much that we rather let people do, which should be an avenue for job creation. And that's what I think from an economic standpoint, we need to pay particular attention. Sugar. Why should we import sugar as a nation? You know, these are very, I mean, this is. I mean, it comes back to because if we are importing, when that nation has a problem, then that means we're in distress. You know, at least we should be at maybe 50% production of all these things, so that if even they have an issue, I mean, our fertilizer industry in this country is at zero. I mean, they're making some headways from what our great minister has said, but we should be having about 3 or 4 fertilizer production companies in this country, so that we can leverage that as wars and things happen in other nations. So I think that it's a wake-up call. African nations, and more importantly, me, I'm thinking about my own Ghana. Ghana has to be more serious about our self-determinationness. You know, as the Marcus Garveys of old said, that we need to take up governance by ourselves and do our very best. So that's what I'll say about this African story.
Thank you very much. There are a number of issues which you have brought out in your analysis, and I think that, like Edgar indicated, we will discuss those matters when we get to the economy. But Dr. Rashid Pelko, respectfully, let's hear from you on this subject matter.
Yeah, it's a big tragedy happening in Europe. It's in Ukraine and Russia. Lives are being lost. The economy is contracted. There's a rippling effect everywhere else that depended on them. But before I go on, let me welcome our good friend Edgar back, and let me greet my people in West Central.
We've never gone, Edgar.
Where you will be
the
going.
The promise hasn't happened.
Where you'll be going very soon.
Okay. Well, I hope it's not a Jesus Christ type of soon.
No, it will be soon. Yeah, so the effect of the happenings in Ukraine is huge, you know, having a direct effect on Europe. The effect on Europe is what we are having a direct reflection on, but not much, as Edgar has said. These things that are happening today had been happening long ago. We had been having challenges of feeding, accommodation, every other thing. And, you know, government going to borrow money and keep borrowing and all that and all that. I mean, these things, they have defined how we move. But in order to break away from them, we are not waiting for Ukraine war to stop before we can break away from them. Good policies, resilient analysis, commitment to the economy can change the face of events. But if we don't take the particular interest in our economy and focus on how to redirect our thinking, we can always be complaining when things are happening elsewhere as an excuse. Like Edgar said, COVID, you say it's COVID. Now it's Ukraine, you are not saying it's Ukraine. So what do you want? Why are other countries not complaining? You know,
this is in South Africa. This is not here.
no, I mean, yeah, but the crisis in Africa, Ghana is...
Yeah, we are part of it. We have complained so much.
I'm just telling him that other countries are also complaining.
Yeah.
Okay, I get your point.
Yes, but because we are more interested in Ghana, so we live.
It's not peculiar to Ghana.
This guy, so I love them.
Nice spotlight.
Yeah. Okay, so the commitment is to make sure that we prepare ourselves domestically, so extraneous events don't come to overwhelm us. If it happens all the time, that when things are happening in Europe, then we are crying, it means we are not prepared to run this country. Or if there's any other country in Africa, that depends on the fact that other countries must be peaceful before they are peaceful, economical sound before they are economical sound. It means that the the string is still tied to us. Our inability to be ourselves is not being defined clearly. So we need to make sure that we control the resources of our country. We control our destiny. We're able to plan and plan well. We definitely live in a country of interdependence. But it doesn't mean that you suffer the consequences when they suffer the consequences.
Yeah.
And then when people are in good mood, then you still live in bad mood. And when they are in bad mood, you live in worse mood, which is not good. If Europe is developing and making sure they manufacture vehicles, and let's manufacture bicycles here. Let's make sure we do motorbikes here. Let's not give everything to them. We don't manufacture anything here, nothing. And so, and oil, which is our main one of our main products, is the only reason why Europe is suffering, because they can't find the 10% of total supply of Ukraine oil. They can't get a 40% of gas given to them. So if these are the two economic factors that are killing them, why will we have the effect? Because we are, I think we are net exporters of oil.
Yeah.
No.
And we are not.
No.
Okay. We are net importers of oil.
Yeah.
Is that it?
Yeah.
I'll come to it. You carry
Yeah.
on.
So if that
Finance
happens,
Minister just spoke about
the challenge we are facing is that we are not on our own,
Right.
and we need to live on our own. We need to plan an economy that is Ghanaian in character and in nature. Yeah.
We need to plan an economy that is Ghanaian in character and in nature, and we must not suffer the consequences because of our interdependence economically. Very important. These are very, very important words coming from the mouth of Honorable Dr. Rashid Pelpu. You see why I love Wednesdays? Brilliant. Brilliance at display. Now, it is important, really, that at this point I take a little breather. When I come back, e-levy is on the table. Stay with us.
Trasaco Estates, home to Accra's most beautiful and luxurious homes, presents its newest addition, Trasaco Springs, a premium master planned community of service plots surrounded by an exhaustive list of amenities. The gated community of Tema to Accra Motorway presents you the finest opportunity to own a land that suits your preferred size, budget, and payment terms. Trasaco Springs is open to you for development. Our on-site sales executives are ready. Call on 055 659 2658.
Hello, information.
Madam,
Me, I have still not got the money for that list of expensive building materials you sent to me. The price of the iron rods have been increased too much, are they?
madam, relax. Look, that's not why I even called. I just visited IPCP, where the engineers told me everything about Trasaco Fast Floor.
Trawanko, please, those people are expensive. Are they not the people building those big houses in town? I beg, go and
Madam, in fact, I used to think the same until I visited their office today, and they gave me an estimate of how much it will cost. Yomo, the estimate is real. It's cheaper than the one I even sent you.
Wow.
Building contractors, foremen, masons. Visit IPCP, the Trasaco Fast Floor. Engineers will assist you build an affordable, faster, and stronger building.
Oh, madam, it is done.
Wow.
Trasaco Fast Floor. Stronger, faster, and affordable.
This is a Trasaco construction product.
back from that quick commercial break. If you just tuned in watching the news preview segment here on Pan-African Television with me, Kwame Usudan. So we just dispense with the African story. Ukraine war could trigger food crisis in Africa. Now, we're coming back. Well, Ghana is in Africa, but we're coming to discuss another very important issue, which has got to do with the passage of the e-levy. What transpired in Parliament yesterday, arguments advanced. I think we have footages of what briefly transpired. We'll go to Parliament to see what happened, and then we'll come back in the studio and get comments from our wonderful panelists here seated. Of course, you know that we have two members of Parliament. I don't know whether they are going to agree on this one or they are going to depart from the passage of the e-levy. But be that as it may, it is important that we are apprised with the full fact of what really happened on the floor of Parliament yesterday. Do we have the video ready, Bless? Yes, we do. Yes? No? Yes? If we do, let's check out the video.
The able leadership of Honorable Haruna Idrisu will stand with them, fight against e-levy, remain resilient and consistent with our conviction and principle. We are not those who will tell the people of Ghana that Momo is back in the heat of the run-up elections. And then when elections are over, they make a U-turn and turn around to test the ordinary Ghanaian. What are we talking about? What we are saying is simple. My brother Honorable Kojo Pompoma talks about if you buy something. Momo is not about purchases. And that is what the ranking member said. There are normally 3 levels of taxation. What you earn, such as wages and salaries. What you consume, that is what we talked about. And then wealth, that is property. So if I send money to my son in the school to take that money and go and buy books, and you want to tax that, you call that consumption? Because that is insensitivity of the highest order. When I send 1,000 Ghana to my son in school, this government is proposing to take 1.5 of that. When my son goes to buy textbooks, they still want to follow that money and take 1.5 of that. If my son goes to the pharmacy, and this is the rest of it, if he buys the medication, first of all, he pays for the medication. He says 100 cedi. He will pay a VAT on that 100 cedi. And when you decide that you want to pay that VAT, that new government you are charging, you still want to charge 1.5% on that tax that the son is paying. This is what we call lazy man's economics.
I think that Parliament's oversight responsibility should come into play, which is why what we're discussing, which were put together by one of our colleagues on the other side, in the form of amendment. He left the chamber not to move the amendment, but because we had bought into the spirit, even in his absence, we brought it back to the front burner and moved that amendment relating to Parliament's oversight responsibility. But the minority are making a fanfare of the fact that we are saying that because of the application of the e-levy is an all-in-all facility, it's going to operate like Akubam, Utiya Akubam, Unayo Akubam. The funny thing of it is that when the ranking member was reciting this poem, when he said Akubam, Utiya Akubam, instead of touching his head, he touched his ass. That's on the funny side. But why are they saying that? You see, the e-levy, we are not creating a fund for the e-levy, like the Petroleum Revenue Fund. Now, the revenues that would ensue from the taxes would be commingled with other revenue
Welcome
sources.
back. So yeah, some of the things which occasioned in Parliament yesterday. Honorable Dr. Adumako Kisi. E-levy passed.
Yes.
Happy now?
Votes.
E-levy passed. Happy, yes, and even more happy because I think some of the concessions that were made are very much in the interest of transparency, accountability, and I really think it's good. The e-levy we know now is not the e-levy we had in December, and that is a very important aspect that I think one, the town hall meetings brought out. So I want to at least add that key thing that the e-levy has been made in such a way. I mean, initially it wasn't going to the consolidated fund, which he knows. Now it's going to the consolidated fund, which is a big plus in the sense that oversight on the consolidated fund is a bipartisan approach, so that any dime or penny or cedi that moves, everybody knows where it's going. So for me, in as much as there are many concessions, that's one of the wonderful things that the finance minister has done since he introduced the e-levy. So all Ghanaians should note one thing, that through the hula balloons, a lot of things have come out of it, which is in our interest and which has made the e-levy more Ghanaian friendly. The other thing too is that I think that I'm happy in the sense that investors in our country are much more happier today, in that we've shown that truly our commitment to development is not just talk, that we are now going to commit, our monies to our own development, because in local parlance, the leader of the warriors has to be at war and in the war and with the troops. And in financial terms, when we always go saying we want money for development, the key question is, what are the Ghanaian people themselves also paying? And now we have something to show that, listen, through this e-levy bill, there are many more Ghanaians on board for the development of Ghana. And I really think that is a plus. I always liken this to corporate Ghana or corporate entities where employees also make contributions to the company's growth. And what we are doing with the e-levy is we're showing that all Ghanaians are contributing towards the development of the nation.
Has it really been passed? Looking at what happened yesterday. So the question is, from your perspective, is far, but let's go to the nitty-gritties of what.
Okay, I'll go into that.
Has it really been passed?
I'll go into that. So I'll use this platform, a wonderful platform, to educate the many people who are almost being confused by the tricks of the NDC. In that sense, the many languages that the NDC, or colors of the NDC. So this is what happened yesterday. And this is me talking like off camera, explaining this to the average Ghanaian. Yesterday, we had a second reading of the e-levy bill. And in the second reading, the finance minister stood and he spoke, and all the clauses involved. And when I say clauses, the first reading had some challenges, and the NDC wanted some changes. So all the changes that were made, he had to address us and tell us where and how some of those changes are. And sometimes it can be just a word, there or that or shall, can be even an amendment. So he laid out all the things that he had done with the new version of the e-levy. And once he did that, then Mr. Speaker, the Right Honourable Speaker, Alan Bagbin, then asked that we debate. So a debate ensued, which was the right thing, and he gave audience to both sides. Interestingly, for the first time, the majority was running on, less words. Because, I mean, this thing it's gone through the mill. And there isn't any extraordinary new argument that can be made. So, Honorable Abena Osei made a crisp 3-minute argument. Opon Nkrumah also added a very short one. And he even added words, local words, which were like in Dobwa, in the sense that community helping each other for our development. And he used the Voltairean language, he used the northern language and all that, which was remarkable. I thought that was a very nice way, although his fluency in Ewe was definitely not good. And because you could see the Voltaireans very upset with him a little bit because of the language he used. And I dare not pronounce it in Ewe because I'm also not very good with Ewe. But the key thing is that the majority used very short time to talk and make the case. And then we had the minority do. Now, when all the arguments had been done, then the speaker, felt that he'd been surprised by what had happened all through. And to reconvene the House, he decided that we break for 30 minutes. And that was a shock. We thought we would just go through and get through. So the speaker broke for 30 minutes. And this was a long wait for some of us. I mean, it felt like going for a visa, and then the consulate person tells you, okay, we have all your documents, go and wait for 30 minutes for a determination. And it felt like a very long 30 minutes. But he came on board, just within the 30 minutes as promised, and sat in the chair. And just as he was about to talk, Osei Chairman Sabonsu made an alert that the minority leader was not in the chamber. So he felt that we could do another business-like statement whilst we wait for Honorable Haruna Iddrisu to come. Within few minutes, Honorable Haruna Iddrisu rushed in, and to catch his breath, we all had to wait for the minority leader to catch his breath because I think he rushed down from his office upstairs. So we did that, and an agreement was made to listen to the minority leader. Now, typically, after the minority leader makes his argument, then the majority leader would also make his argument. Now, the additional surprise was the fact that the minority leader, after making all his arguments that he's not in support, or the minority are not in support of the e-levy, concluded by saying that they don't want to have anything to do with the e-levy. Nothing. Which means that he failed to acknowledge all the requests and changes they asked for that had been made. And I think that was very ingenious of him. I mean, it was disingenuous of him. I mean, listen, in one breath, you ask for so many things. At least, the barest minimum minority should have done was say that, oh, in fact, 3 of the 17 things we requested, Finance Minister has what? Done. Or 6 of the 17, or 20 of the 25. I'm just saying that this is what Finance Minister has done. So, invariably, you are part of the decision making. I mean, one key one that I keep reminding us is the consolidated fund, which was not the case initially. We're thinking that we're going to do an e-levy fund, which will be managed separate. But that was crucial. And they begged for it. They asked for it. They insisted. And it's been done. So clearly, I think that minorities should have at least made those key points that, listen, to borrow from the president, whose birthday was yesterday, fellow Ghanaians, when we met with the MPP government, we told them we don't want e-levy, however, we want these and these things changed. And they've done that. But even though the finance minister has done all of these things, we still don't want to be part of it. We're not ready to budge. We're not ready to change. And in as much as we are not ready to change, we are walking out to show our displeasure. And it begs that question. You can declare your non-interest. That is one thing. And then also abstain from voting. That is another thing. So, in actuality, there was no need for the minority to walk out. They could have just expressed their, disdain for e-levy and then not voted, which would be fine. All of Ghana knows, a no is almost as abstinence. And as the golden rule says, silence means what? Consent. So they should have just stayed in the, auditorium, in the chamber, and then watch proceedings and be as deaf and dumb as they should or could have been as a party. And what is interesting, another surprise came up. Once he said that, then the majority leader said that he will forgo making any argument, because his argument is to convince the other side. So if the other side is walking out, then there's no point in making a case, because they have an entrenched position and they are determined not to change. So majority said he will forgo making an argument for e-levy. He will rely on the argument that the previous members of parliament had made, including the deputy minister of finance and then the minister of information, and that we should proceed. And then the speaker, adhering to the request of the majority leader, Osei Kyei-Mensah-Bonsu, then put the question. Those in favor of the motion say aye, those not in favor say no, and the ayes were loud and clear. There was no no's because they were walking out. Now, the beauty of what happened yesterday, and this is where some people are a bit confused. Last year, when the MPP staged or actually walked out, the question had not been put. We walked out, the House, got themselves adjusted, and then the Speaker put the question. Now, our argument was that at the time when the Speaker put the question, the entire MPP fraternity or MPP MPs had walked out, totally out of the chamber. There was not one MPP MP in the chamber. So it was the Speaker and 137 NDC MPs. Fortunately for us, yesterday, the question was put and there were remnants of the NDC MPs in the chamber, because to get out of the chamber, if they had rushed out, it would be a stampede and they would have walked to their death. So they had to, go through that one door,
Are you saying this are you explaining this to us in relation to the quorum?
Yes.
Of the decision of the court.
Yes.
In respect of Article 104.
So
one.
Yes. So the beautiful thing about yesterday was that our side was, I think, 136, and then there were about 10 or 15 NDC members in the chamber when the question was put. Maybe you were out. I was still in. And there are videos. I can share the videos with you.
Okay, let me finish.
So when the question was put, there were close to 15 NDC members in the chamber. And that one, they can't do anything about it. Okay. And once you're in the chamber, you are counted as in the chamber, even if you've abstained from the voting, you are counted.
All right.
So what they should have probably done, and this is just my advice to them, next time maybe they should all leave and leave the minority leader to make the statement that they are walking out. Then that one would have been much better. But in this case, they were seated when the question was put.
All right.
Even though they were abstaining,
okay,
they were seated. Somebody even left his item and came back for it.
Okay.
Nina or video. So.
All right.
Captured.
Thank you. So clearly, it appears that the NDC had a plan, which plan was within the contemplation of the NPP. So yes, they also had a plan.
Yeah.
Honorable Dr. Rashid Peku, my resentment has been very evident in my posts following the exit or the walkout of the minority in Parliament. It's evident. It's on social media. Everybody can see. So I will not be biased. I will not sit here and pretend that I don't have a position. My position is what has been alluded by Honorable Dr. Adma-Okisi, that you could have stayed. You could have stayed, and if you had the numbers, you could have, definitely voted against the passage of the e-levy. You walked out, you left an empty room, you left an empty space, you give them the latitude to do whatever it is that they wanted to do. Why did you stage a walkout? I'm hearing things. Of course, I also have my source. I'm hearing things.
But let me say something for them.
I'm hearing things. So,
unfortunately for them, one of their members had to go to court.
Okay. No, they actually factored all those ones. And I've seen that they've written reports, on that. But, Dr. Asipepu, I know you're an honest man.
Yeah.
So an honest politician.
An honest man.
An honest politician.
An honest man who is a politician. And I know that you will be truthful to the Ghanaian people, irrespective of whatever the odds may be. Yeah. Why did you walk out? Was it needful? And how would you be able to remedy the situation if indeed your position is still as rigid as it was, as indicated by Dr. Adma-Okisi, that you didn't want to have anything to do with the passage of the e-levy? Why did you walk out? What is the plan?
Well, first of all, let me just make it very clear that our position on the e-levy is for the people of Ghana. We tried hard to make sure that it doesn't come into being, or it didn't come into being. And we still believe that it is not into being yet, and that it is not passed. The main reason why it's not passed is the reason we walked out. We know by the Supreme Court ruling and by the dictates of our own standing orders and the Constitution of Ghana, that before you can pass such a bill, before you can take a major, any such decision in Parliament, you must have at least half the members of Parliament, of all members of Parliament, sitting in to take that decision. In other words, you should have at least 138 people sitting in to take that decision. So our position is to make sure that we don't have e-levy, that the economy is transformed through other sources other than the over-reliance on the e-levy. So we insisted that e-levy is not a popular choice. It's not acceptable to Ghanaians, and that the finance minister could do something else rather than just relying on e-levy. So in the course of the debate, we made our position very clear that we are completely against the e-levy. And in the course of the debate by the minority leader, he ended up by saying, Mr. Speaker, we don't want to be part of this, and we are out of it. We don't want to be part of it. And he walked out, and we all walked out. That statement, we don't want to be part of it, and we are not going to be part of it, define everything. It's not whether somebody was there or not. Once he said that to the speaker, and it is official, that we are not going to be part of it, we are not going to be vote. We are not even abstaining. If you abstain, you are voting. We are not going to be part of it. And we left.
But you're in the chamber.
They said we were in the chamber whilst we were walking out. And that because the images of people were still there walking out.
What does the rule say?
The rule...
The standing orders, what does it say?
The standing...
In respect of when the question was put, at the time when the question was put,
yes,
whether you were in favor or not.
The standing orders is talking about present and voting. Have the members of Parliament present and voting. We said we won't be part of it. We won't even vote about it. We are living. So we didn't satisfy the two indicators.
Walkout is also a vote.
Now it's not a vote. It is a deserting. It is a rejection of the whole thing. We walked out and we said we won't be present. We won't vote, and we walked out. This idea about they saw people going out, it doesn't sound understandable to our standing orders. So indeed, the walkout had a purpose. two purposes. One, to tell Ghanaians that, well, we don't want to be part of it.
Agreed.
Two, to tell Ghanaians that if we left and then they had 136 people, they'll be short of the total number of people who can take a decision. And it is unconstitutional.
Let me find out.
Yeah.
I hear the chieftaincy minister
was
wheeled to the police.
No, he wasn't wheeled.
Okay.
He was kept in an ambulance,
okay.
lying down. We don't know what happened, but he never went out. So there were 136.
Oh, okay. So he was on the premises.
Yeah, not in the outside the chamber.
Outside the chamber.
In the So
being in the chamber really matters. And that is where I'm trying to make a case.
No.
It's just
he just wanted to know where he was.
Because I heard he was wheeled, and then he's clarified it.
Proceed.
Yeah, so if you are... So our position is that once we worked out, in all spheres of approving the bill, in approving the budget, in approving the report, in agreeing to the consideration stages of every single clause, when you come to, can we do this or this, then the people will say yes or no. There's a clause and there's an amendment. Okay, let us now make it 15%, 1.5% instead of 1.8%, 1.7%. Do we like it? They will say yes. Others will say no. Now, by the Supreme Court ruling, every single item taken must be approved by more than half the number of members of parliament. So whether we worked out at the stage when they put the question, that has no relevance at all. There were stages of approvals in the consideration stage until there was the major approval, which was the third reading. The third reading of the budget of the bill is when we all agree that we now pass the bill because everything is okay. We have done the consideration, we have corrected everything, we have agreed on all the clauses. We now say that at the third reading, we pass the bill. That's the most important of them all. At that third reading, there were only 136. And that 136 passed the bill,
the Speaker,
which is wrong.
The Speaker made one key point, that because it was filed as an urgent reading, and the fact that you had the document with you well over 3 weeks, that consideration stage was not necessary. Which I think.
Oh, no. Don't say
you
this.
Didn't hear that.
Don't say this.
Or you didn't hear that.
It's wrong. It's complete. You haven't heard that rightly.
I didn't hear that.
What he said.
Let me hear from you.
We were raising a point of issue that we cannot have the consideration take place because we didn't have the document. We didn't have the, and so he said that, look, you don't need. We need to keep. We need to understand that we had this thing earlier, and we were listening. What he also told you earlier was to say that consideration stage should not take too long because you had the documents long ago.
True.
But then,
didn't you have it?
Yet there was consideration stage. Consideration stage was one they were asking you at every line when they read and then you approve it. That's the consideration.
Because the chairman of the finance committee, and they were very clear about it, that he voted to swing it the appropriate way. So it was
no. That's long before this. The issues now is when we all came to the plenary, and we were discussing the issue. Every other extraneous issues that happened in the past were gone, because the most important thing is the approval.
So where was your voice?
The approval of the bill. And at the point when we had to approve the bill was when the third reading was done. At that third reading, there were 136 members, and they approved it. Now, let me explain to you why the Speaker, some people were asking, why is it that the Speaker didn't raise the issue of quorum because some people had walked out? The Speaker had no right to do that. The Speaker is an arbiter. It's a neutral arbiter. And he can't stand there and say, oh, there's no quorum. He has no right to do that. An individual member of parliament can raise an issue of quorum, and the Speaker will take it up and say, oh, really? Then let's count to make sure that there's a quorum or there's no quorum.
Where were you?
So he had to just continue doing everything until the end of the game. If the quorum issue has become a problem, we can take it to court. Or we can come back to Parliament and say that, Mr. Speaker, at this time when this bill was passed, there was no quorum, and then there will become...
What does the standing order say about quorum?
I just already explained to you that in
decision
making, yes, you must have more than you must have half members of Parliament sitting in Parliament and voting. The
present.
Two. Present in Parliament.
Abstinence is a vote.
And voting. No, we didn't abstain.
Present and voting.
Yes. Abstinence is when you sit there, they say, do you accept it? Those who accept it, you say yeah, then you say yes. Those who abstain to say nay, you say nay. And then a person who abstains sits there and he's keeping quiet. They ask him, he say, no, I don't want to say yes or no, but I'm sitting there. But if I'm walking out, it is different. I'm saying I don't want to be part of it. And that's what we did. A pronouncement by the minority.
But you were present.
Define our passing.
Okay. All right. Okay.
You were present.
I will come back to you, but some of your colleagues have said something. I need you to respond to those ones briefly. Because I'm still struggling to appreciate why there's still a question about quorum. Because it appears that is the leg on which you are standing. You are going to court. In fact, you've actually gone to court. I've seen the writ, that you've actually gone to court. And I think that if my producers have that, they should just project it so that we can, look at that. Aruna Idrisu, together with a few others, have gone to court for court to... They've actually gone because they filed. I think they filed yesterday or so. And then also Okujeto Ablakwa, together with a few others, also have issued a statement. Well, and let's scrutinize that before we come to Mr. Edgar Redu. If that is ready, let's flash it. Let's read it out together. Is it ready, Bless?
Yeah.
Is it ready, Bless? If it's not ready, just give me my phone. Let me read it from my phone, please. Hurry up. Let me read it from my phone. Thank you. No, let's bring it. Okay. All right. Thank you. Right. So this is what Okujeto said yesterday. You thought we will give you the pleasure. Edgar, please listen carefully for me. You thought we will give you the pleasure of returning to court for a declaration that the Asin North MP shouldn't have been present in the chamber to vote so that you can claim a 136 victory for the e-levy. So the first contention here for me, when you talk about numbers, because you indicate that the majority did not even have 137. You said they had 136. So clearly, there is a contradiction here because your colleague is saying that they didn't want to risk the Asin North MP being present in Parliament so that you will then, the majority will then say that in fact and indeed, the minority was 136 and not 137. So that's the first issue I want to address. Then it goes on to say, with our strategic walkout, you fall short of the required 138 quorum under Article 1041 of the 1992 Constitution, and as affirmed by the Supreme Court in the recent Justice Abdullahi case. There can be no contention about Honorable Adwoa Safo's absence from today's proceedings. Trust your NDC representatives go. Going by the Supreme Court's decision, the e-levy has not been passed. What transpired today is a ridiculous nullity. Going by the Supreme Court decision, the e-levy has not been passed. What did the court say? Because when the court made the pronouncement, yesterday I had the occasion of having a conversation with one of your members of Parliament, that the court made a ruling. But then the court deferred to Parliament to say that if you want to implement it, then you must change your standing orders in accordance with the decision of the court, and that the court itself will not come to Parliament and come and help you change your standing orders for it to be effective. So as it stands now, my question to you with respect is that has the standing orders been changed? No. To factor into it what the court said in its ruling in respect of Article 1041.
I don't think you have because you see the point of emphasis is what they have said. Whether you have changed it or not, it is what the Supreme Court says that matters.
Yes.
So all that, and that is what they are basing the argument on.
I respectfully agree with you. I respectfully, but I'm just asking this question because, and Bless, find me the ruling, because there's one portion that the NBC was bandying about, that even though the court had made that ruling, the court again said that they defer to Parliament to make changes if they so want to abide by the ruling of the court. That is why I want to bring that to his attention, that it is not sort of etched in stone, that because the court acknowledges the fact that Parliament is a sacrosanct institution which operates by its own standing orders. And therefore, even if there's a decision which has been reached in respect of constitutional interpretation by the court, when it comes to the implementation of the ruling of the court, they defer that to Parliament. It's a closed book, and the court acknowledges that. I'm just only asking the question. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
There is nothing challenging the quorum of Parliament, either in the Constitution or in our standing orders. The main issue was about the voting of the deputy speaker.
That's all it is.
That was the main issue. And that
so why is Okujeto saying that going by the ruling of the court,
by the ruling, the court emphasized the courage number to take decision, which is 138.
Okay.
And they emphasized it and said that because they had that number, in the presence of the first deputy speaker, who was presiding, then the 138 was satisfied.
Okay, all right.
You see?
Okay, all right.
And so, by that ruling, it indicates that 138 is a critical key, it's a critical number if you have to take a decision in the court.
If quorum is not in contention, why are you going to court?
It is in contention.
How is it in contention? Because you have indicated to me here that they didn't have 138.
Yes.
So it means that there's not a question about even whether quorum was formed for the voting.
They didn't have. So they shouldn't declare that they have passed.
So why are you going to court? Let your standing orders take charge of that.
But who is going to say that the standing orders should take that?
Definitely, you have to. Some of these.
Nobody can take that decision. But the court, except the court. Or when we get back to Parliament ourselves,
let me just.
Then you can raise those.
We can raise it and rule it out. So there are two issues.
Absolutely.
But the Supreme Court has taken it upon itself to make a decision on it. So we get back to them in the face of the Ghanaians to ask them whether they can make another contract decision away from the original decision they make.
What was the original? What was
we said to them that they did not have they didn't have the number to make
I think you guys are just saying.
Let me come to let me clear.
Let Honorable Claire and Edgar will give
you. I've cleared it so many times, but it's like you are just going.
No. With respect, I just have.
First of all,
web of doubt in my mind, so I just wanted to clear.
We consistently,
yes, sir,
said that to make a decision, you have to have 138 members of Parliament present in Parliament and voting too. In the first instance, when the budget was approved, the MPP members were 137.
Forget about that.
With one of them being a deputy speaker presiding, and by the Constitution and by the standing orders,
a deputy?
No, a presiding officer who is the speaker presiding does not have a vote. So they were 137, and we said that it was wrong, and we went to court. We went to Parliament to overturn it, but somebody took the matter to court, and the court ruled and said that because the presiding officer is also a member of Parliament, he was present, and so the number actually got to 138, not 137.
Okay.
Because of this ruling.
Okay. I think it's clear.
The ruling now insists that 138.
So 138 must be 138.
138.
Exactly.
So in this instance, there was no 138.
It's clear. It's clear.
It's
very palpable. Very palpable.
Present and voting.
So their argument now is that when you were leaving, you were still counted.
No. Who was counting? We were not voting. We declared that we weren't voting. Voting there are three types of voting. Either you vote yes, you vote no, you abstain. A walkout is a fourth one, which is not a voting.
Okay, all right.
It's not part of the voting at all.
Let's defer to Edgar Redu. Let's defer to Edgar Redu. If there are any doubts, we'll still come back and clear those. Because today we are focusing on
walkout is an abstention.
But from both of you, beautiful explanations. Let me come to Edgar.
It is because of this kind of rigmarole. That is why you go to court. You see,
and we always win in court.
You see, it is because of this kind of I am right, I am right, I am right, I am right. That is why we go to court. But you know one funny thing? My brother Rush.
Yes.
It's a little, how would I call it? Interesting. Funny. Politicians, you see, that's why I tell people that they shouldn't follow politicians. So. You see, the same politicians who were condemning the Supreme Court ruling and they this, that, and how can they interfere? Parliament is a master, you can't do this. Today, the same ruling you were condemning, now you are going to stand on that same ruling and go to the courts.
Because you can do nothing about it.
So that is the more reason. I appreciate that. I appreciate that. I appreciate that. So far as you can do nothing about it, there was no need for all that drama and trying to chastise the Supreme Court and making the judges look like whatever. You don't know.
You are a Democrat.
Of course.
In democracy, you are allowed to oppose and to say no.
Justifiably.
You are opposed. You are given the right to oppose Supreme Court. I mean, to say you don't like it.
No, I didn't say you never have a right to criticize. I never said you don't have a right to criticize. You can criticize, but the way you go about the criticism becomes an attack. Because what you are trying to do was that you were condemning the Supreme Court. You are trying to give the picture that the Supreme Court hasn't got any power to come in. Of course, my brother, we heard your colleagues speak that we are master of our own and this and that. How can the Supreme Court interfere? You made all these kind of statements. And today you are using what you condemned to go to courts. That's why I say when you follow politicians,
They are kind of politicians.
Your kinds of politicians. When you follow these human beings, trouble for you. But you see, the issue is this. There is still the need for a further interpretation to what happened as to whether it has been passed or not passed based on the same dictates of what the Supreme Court said. You see, I've always asked this question, that there is a certain gray area, and unfortunately, I was expecting that area to have been dealt with when Abdullahi sent the matter to the Supreme Court. Yeah. And I believe maybe now that matter is coming up. It looks like that is what my brother Adumako is hinging on. Okay. The question is this. At the start of the day, when members walk into the chamber and then they are dotted down as maybe 150 members present, does it mean that if 2, 3, 4 leave, it makes nonsense of the 150
who are recorded
as having been there
at the time of a decision?
No question of decision. Wait a minute, I'm building a point here. The question is this: when 150 members are present, which means they are over quorum. They are over quorum. So business can start. Decisions can be made and all that. Because quorum is about 90 something. To start business, decision 138 going. So you have about 150. So what it simply means that they are over quorum. So business can start and decisions can be made. Now, if 10, 20, 15, how many leave, right? And then something has to be done. Do we say that because we had 150 present, for which we formed the quorum, and maybe they have left, so because they are not there, there's a problem? The other question is this. Maybe we are doing normal business, and the normal business you are talking about, is it 96 or something like that? 96 persons. So 96 persons, or let's say we have 138. So if members of parliament, maybe committee meetings or some 1 or 2 things, go out there and you are left with 80 in the chamber, does it mean that you have to halt proceedings because the required number is not in.
Yes. So they ring the bell and ask them to leave committee and come.
Okay, no, I'm saying that these are all issues that we need pronouncement on, clarity. So we stop these go come and everybody speaking his own language.
That's why I was saying that somehow for this particular incident, even though they were abstaining, they were in the chamber.
No, but that one I think I agree with Rashia, because you see, if I'm abstaining, I've declared my intent straight. So whether I'm there or not, I'm not part of it, because I'm,
but the thing is,
no, that's what I'm saying. That you see, that's what I'm saying. We need clarity on all these things, because you see, if something is happening, I say I don't want to know. I'm not part of it. I don't see how I should be counted as being part and then present, and then I didn't vote, because I've declared my stand straight.
You know, the beauty of it is the awareness. They don't want a decision to be taken whereby a lot of members are not even aware. You understand? And once you're in the chamber, that means you are aware of the question. The chamber is working. And you are entitled to use all other machineries to stop it.
No, Honorable, let me tell you something here.
Yeah.
Don't forget that the same standing orders recognizes a member who was not even present and did not even hear whatever was put up. Recognizes that that person can vote.
No, that's not what it says.
No, you're standing on
somebody in the chamber who is not listening.
Somebody who's not listening, and then if he doesn't know what is being discussed, if they come
when he comes in, yes. So it makes my case strong.
What I'm saying is this: he comes in to vote, but this is somebody who has said that I don't want to be part of it. You see. The fact that
means you are aware. The awareness is there.
No, but then you see, it leads into so many things. Because
and abstaining is a vote.
No, you see, it leads into so many things because what is happening is this: it was not voted in block.
It was. This one was.
No. Wait a minute. They read clause by clause.
Yes.
No, but the bill itself. The bill itself was one question.
No,
they are different.
There were some amendments.
Yes, you see,
those amendments were
the main thing.
The voters were voted separately.
Yes. Absolutely.
So that's what the ends were here. So that is why I'm saying that you do not put it there and block. Boom. Okay. You took it line by line.
Fortunately, some of the clauses did not have any changes.
It doesn't matter.
But they still voted. No, because I remember that those who are in favor of these amendments say,
it doesn't matter. The point of the matter is that so far as every single item was voted for, then what it simply means is that so far as I mentioned this, clause 8, amendment, insertion, deletion, those in favor, those against. At that time that those things were being said, the 138 was missing. You see? And these are the issues, that's what I'm saying, that we can all want to put commonsensical, no logical arguments to, but since we will not come to an agreement, that is why the Supreme Court is there. Okay?
I agree.
So yes, then we'll go to the Supreme Court.
But I like your point.
You see,
that the same people who had said something that they said no, now they are standing on that. Very interesting point. Very interesting point. Very interesting point. So is it that now they've agreed that the Supreme Court's ruling was appropriate?
Well, you see, that's what I'm saying. When you follow politicians, you now be a distraction. Go on.
No, is that what they are saying? That the Supreme Court
I don't think that has been in contention. Given that even in Parliament, you recall that Murtala Mohammed described the then presiding speaker by his honorable name, as in Joe Wise. Well, so it means that they actually respected the ruling.
You see, so these are issues that for me, I don't have a problem with. The Supreme Court will deal with it, you know. But as I said, the kind of games that they play around, you know, you want to make this. But then there are other, you know, sides to the issue. There are other sides to the issue. Look, an argument has been made. You see, in your view, Dr. Rashid Purple talks about the fact that it is in the interest of Ghanaians. I don't know what scientific analysis, I don't know what kind of sampling that the NDC has actually done to say maybe 80% of Ghanaians are not in favor or so and so. Yes, you may have said that. I personally, I don't think that the e-levy is the issue. I have a problem with e-levy because I am asking a very simple question. Is government so wrapped with ideas that they think e-levy should be the panacea for our problem? That is my position.
That's not government's position too.
So why are you forcing it so much?
It's one of the solutions.
Well, unfortunately, in my view, it is none of the solutions that you have to look at. Because you see, today we are talking about e-levy. What is the 2023 budget and 2024 budget going to look up to? Because this e-levy, based on your own projections, even if it is 7 billion. Massa, the 7 billion is not going to do anything as concerned to the situation we are in. I expect the government to be thinking, you see, and think better. You see, there are so many ways that if we put our heads down there, we will rake in serious revenue more than the 7 billion. That is the issue that for me it's important. Unfortunately, all the governments have not been thinking. All the governments, NDC, MPP, CPP was thinking. CPP, they think. But from CPP, all the governments, they were not thinking.
All right.
All the coup d'etats.
Well, thank you.
Yeah, all the coup d'etats. The coup d'etats, they are the worst of all. They came to even kill us more. They destroyed everything.
So thank you very much, Edgar. I'm still staying with you, actually. Okay.
No, he says he's coming back to me.
No, I'm actually staying with you because now I wanted us to move to the state of the nation because I believe that a number of the things that you want looked at, you know, largely are embedded in the state of the nation. Because, look, Honorable Dr. Adman was talking about production, and you told him that wait, when we get there, we'll discuss the matter. So clearly, what is the true state of the nation, really, from your perspective?
Unfortunately, something that is ahead of you said they are growing about so maybe I go and talk some things, and then the man come and say some different things. At times, I don't want my words to be made nonsense of. So I'd actually wait and let him come and say what he has to say. Then I will now want to delve into the saying and see whether what he said is the issue. But for now, I cannot conjecture and go, and because if you are asking me,
you're a traditionalist.
Oh, say if you fear. You see, if you say I should go and say it, me, one of my biggest problems in this country is about lands. It's about lands. And our government, nobody has come to talk about lands. When they come, brofo, 2-3 hours, it's about lands. And you know...
What about lands, Edgar?
My lands. When we started the program, I said something to you that Ghana Statistical Service says that it says we are going to have a problem in this country where feeding people will be a big issue. Water is going to be a problem. As for water, I don't have to. Today, you are in your house, 3 minutes, water is flowing. Next 36 hours, no water. Then you are there, 3 seconds, water will come. And no one has the sense of courtesy to tell Ghanaians why the water situation is like that. No one has that courtesy. Ghana Water Company, they don't even respect the ordinary Ghanaian.
No.
You are sitting down and then you sit in your house, come, 36 hours, no water.
It's embarrassing.
When you are there, you see the water start flowing within some 15-20 minutes, gone. Another 48 hours, no water. Nobody is saying anything. And I'm saying that these are all signs to tell you from what the Statistical Service is saying that we are going to have a problem. The way things are going on in this country. And this document came out in 2021. I was expecting that the 2022 budget would have considered these things. Instead of taking the taxpayers' money to buy tea.
Iced tea.
Not iced tea. Even Ofori-Attah's own statement that he read on that Thursday talks about the fact that we should encourage the made in Ghana things and what have you. Yesterday, I went to Ministry of Health. When I went there was a conference going on. I saw Lipton. I saw PG. I saw King's Cream Crackers. Not even a Piccadilly. Not even a Piccadilly biscuit. I saw all these ones there. And some kind of something milk. Right? You use the taxpayers' money. You tax the cocoa seller. You tax the wachi seller. You are taxing the trotro man. And you use the money to go and buy tea for people to come and drink. You know, these are the things that when you think of, it just goes so crazy. You can't think about it. If you can't drink tea in your house, don't come. Number two, as I said, when this COVID came, that was when we saw how the technology, industry put us on. Do you need to assemble all these human beings there? Whatever conference or seminar you are having, can't you do it by Zoom? Can't you do it by Zoom? Why do you have to carry people and then all these people creating more traffic on the road? Right? You can save a lot of money there. And that's one of the things that you people, you take taxpayers' money, and when you are traveling, you sit in business class. And then the taxpayer out there, you are taking the money from, he's sitting in economy. All of you, you are part of it. You are laughing. You see, all these things, total waste.
Dr. Rashid Beppo likes economy. I think I've seen him in economy.
It is not your money, so use it wisely.
You can't determine how to.
You see, no, why should you take the ordinary man's money and then you go and sit in business class? They take from you, they take from me, they take from everybody, they'll put it together, then you buy and then go and give. Then you, the one they are taking from, you sit at economy. Whoa, all these things are not in the interest of it is total waste. And the interesting thing, the government says that we are not going to buy 4-wheel drives. 50%. So what it means is that still they are going to buy cars. Still they are going to buy, but this time they are not going to buy from that place. They are still going to buy. Of what relevance is it? So there are some of these issues that when we are talking about, but back to the lands issue, I was going there because that area there I can talk to plenty. Back to the lands issue. I've always said, and I think I've said it on this platform even so many times, that there's a need for government to buy land banks. Yes. Government buy the land banks. These lands are for government. And the sole purpose of these lands is for agriculture. Government, go every region, secure lands. And these lands are solely for agriculture purposes. The agriculture, we can divide it into two. What Afriye is doing, will do one. Planting for food and jobs, do one. The other one, planting for exports, do that one too. You get it? Instead of allowing or making these national service guys go and sit in the banks and then the ministries and insurance companies doing nothing, just sending them, hey, you go and buy me cocoa, you go and do this. That's all they are doing. You can begin to create a serious level of employment for these guys if you make them understand how lucrative, attractive agriculture is. You get it? And I'm telling you that these are the areas that Ghana government should be looking at. When Ukraine is fighting, you will not suffer from food. And you make a lot of money because, you see, there are certain kind of, food stuff that we have serious competitive and comparable advantages over. And these things are needed out there. You get it? You make good returns. All these things will come back to strengthening your city. All these things will come back to strengthen your city. Because, you see, you are saying we are over-dependent. Yes, we are over-dependent because government that should lead the way is not leading the way. You see, you lead the way. When you lead the way, we wouldn't be over-dependent. But when you are failing, because you see, everybody talks about exports. When you export more, but what are we exporting? Where are we exporting to? How are we exporting? Who? You don't even have a policy. You get it? You don't have a policy. But if you begin to understand that these variables mean so much to the Ghanaian economy, you will not be wasting your time on e-levy. Because the monies that you rake in will be more than this e-levy thing. Because what I'm saying, that when you fail to identify that, I've said this in a couple of times, that as a third world country, you don't rely on taxes to develop. The taxes are used to keep the state machinery running. But if you want to develop, you have to generate the revenue. And in generating the revenue, you got to work. You got to do business. You get it? So here is the situation that you are failing to realize that you have the opportunity. That's why I said Kwame Nkrumah, then they did better. Look, I ask few questions. Oh, Kwame, you are young, so you probably do not know. You probably are staying in a modern house, so you don't know. But you see, in the 60s and then the 70s, yeah, when you go to the buildings, houses that were constructed those days, there's some kind of 6 by 6 inch tile, white ones. You will normally see them in the kitchen, the bathroom, 6 by 6 inch, right? And then those who on their floor, marble and all that.
Yeah, I remember, I met them.
These things down here, Toyota area, Gihok Marble Works, they were doing it. They were doing it. Today, today, China has come to build some serious warehouse here, and then they are bringing all these tiles here, right? Every modern home you go today, right, is all imported tiles. But we had Gihok. Gihok was there doing everything for Ghanaians. But you see, the unnecessary envy, the unnecessary bitterness amongst us, we kill our own industry. And you know how can we sit in this country and then we import plastics? Plastics to the tune of over $595 million. Plastics. Whereas if Tema Oil Refinery were working, oil, crude oil, you can get over 3,000 different types of products. Our one district, one factory that we are talking about, if Tema Oil Refinery were working, we would have had more than that one district, one factory. Because the byproducts that comes out of crude, and that is where the money is. Even this fertilizer we are talking about, fertilizer is a byproduct of oil, right? That, you see, the problem we have in this country, is that, you see, the greed is too much. Whoa, the greed is too much. And it is all because of my brothers here, the politicians. They are wicked people. You get it? They are the cause of our problems. You know what is happening? The cartels within the industry, they will not allow Tema Oil Refinery to work. Because what? This one will go and then pay some money to NPP government. Oh, me I contribute to your party. The same person will go and contribute to NDC. Oh, I contribute to you. Then when you come into power, I tell us, but you want to kill my business. If it is business, no, they do. If they take seed you know, then you keep quiet because you're being. So this, my brother here is talking about sugar. He mentioned sugar. It is the same cartel industry. They will not want any sugar factory to stand in here because the amount of money they make when they import. If you decide to make the sugar work, it means they are going to cut down on their importation. Absolutely. And that is the greed. But then the bottom line is that,
and then on that for me.
Yeah. At the end of this, when you look at it, it's a Ghana. We have what we can. I mean, it's so much. We can do a lot. But because of that greed, and Minkwan, you know, that acquisition of materialistic kind of lifestyle, you want to run around and show that you got it all. That is why we suffer. But I tell you today, Tema Oil Refinery sit down. These same people go and bring the crude. They'll come and refine it at Tema Oil Refinery.
Sell it to us.
Then they won't even sell to us. Then they'll take it back. then we will go and import and bring. And you know the funny thing, when you take the first layers out, the normal petrol, diesel, the residual, that is where the cash is. The residuals, that is where the cash is. So they'll send it back, then they'll go and give it to those people to manufacture those things. Then we will go and then import it.
Interesting.
You sit in this country and they tell you that making a road is so expensive because you have to order or import bitumen. Whereas if Temwa Refinery was to be working, we would have gotten the bitumen. It's a government product. It's government owned thing. We will not pay so much for it. It will come back. Our roads will work. You get it? When you have all these kind of human beings parading the system, how do you expect Ghana to move?
Brilliant, as always. Edgar,
but I'm not finished.
Edgar, you finish small. Drink coffee. It left 20 minutes. Let me share it. Dr. Adwogizi, let me come to you on Edgar has, and in fact, you genuinely, let me be very, very honest with you, you genuinely also looked at the issue from those perspectives, particularly when you talked about the fact that if you were president for even a day, you will make sure that the importation of toothpick is stopped the next day. I mean, clearly, we know the problems, okay? But we are unable to find solutions to them. We know the problems. We've always been talking about the problems. When parties are in opposition, they are able to identify easily all the fundamental challenges confronting the country. However, when they are given the opportunity to occupy the seat of government, the story or the narrative changes. Now, it is not so much about what the issues are, because we know them, and Edgar has enumerated a few of them. How do we deal with them, particularly when the president was as eloquent and as loud when he indicated in no uncertain terms that he was going to migrate the country from taxation to production? Where are we now? Why are we still taxing the very people, who were promised that they were not going to be taxed? How come that we are still importing toothpick? How come that we are still importing sugar, like Edgar said? How come we are still importing cassava from China? Banche.
That is an error.
It's not an error. It's not an error. It's not an error.
Well, whether it's not for industrial or what you imported.
Yeah. I mean,
that's
but Kwame, it's very important. Let me just read this little thing.
Okay, just read it and respectfully, and then I'll come to it.
This is
with your leave.
That's agreed.
This is data from FAO, Ministry and Food Agriculture here. Ghana Investment Promotion Center, Agriculture, Ghana here. Ghana Statistical Service, Ghana here. Agra, Ghana here. Okay. Now watch. Duku, scarf. We imported 1.9 million worth of headgear. Duku. Toilet paper. 30 million. We import, come here. Footwear, 45 million.
What, the cities or dollars?
Dollars. Flour and starch, 115 million. Raw meat, Ninchebu Hakra still, importo, 163. Okay.
163 million.
63 million. But you know the thing that even is annoying to me? The thing that's annoying to me is the fact that we ordered $286 million worth of palm oil. And you know the funny thing? We ordered it from Malaysia. Malaysia came to Ghana to take the abe from here. Then Malaysia, they came to Ghana and took the abe from here and sent it there. And they went to grow it. Today, Malaysia makes not less than $14 billion in exports of palm oil. And they came to take the thing from us. We imported $286 million from palm oil there. And this, this information.
Anyway, send it to me. I'll project it. Send it to me.
I really think this is similar to your mother cooking at home, and then the child says, "I want something from outside the house."
Why are they?
I think there's a tendency, there's a human natureness of something outside your home being attractive. And I really think that we need to check it as a nation. The reason why I say that is that if I speak this same English in the US over a medium, Ghanaians would love me. They would like me. But let me come and speak the same thing on our soil. Hey, it's a whole different thing. And I really think that we need to work out something better so that Gary, even if it's from Nigeria, we might prefer it than Gary from Ghana. And that attitude is not the government. Government is not able to really control people choosing Kumasi-made sandals over Italian sandals.
Or people,
who
decide to do armed robbery, it's not government.
So my only key point is that we as Ghanaians have to make that deliberate effort as well, whereby this suit I have on, made in Ghana.
Mine was made in Ghana.
Fabric, unfortunately imported, but at least it's handmade in Ghana. And I really think that all of us, and your outfit, beautiful.
Yeah.
We're doing better. In fact, especially with our African wear, thanks to the Kufuor administration, which allowed us to do Friday wear, we are doing well. I really think that we need a Batakari Day, you understand, which might be a Monday one. So the Northern Region folks, like the Rashid Pelpos, Dr. Rashid Pelpos, should front it and push the agenda so that we'll have a Monday Batakari Day, and then that one too will groom the textile industry. But more importantly, my key thing is that, listen, people importing water into the country, government doesn't have control because there's Voltic, there's Belacqua, there's all these other country, in-made water. So what would drive somebody to do that? Exactly. So my key point is that as our culture about liking, wanting, being more interested in the foreign things, we need to curb our appetite for that.
But you see,
I remember Parliament before I entered bought chairs from China, which was a big deal. Truffles. Yeah. So I really think that we need to conscientize ourselves.
But you see what you're saying? Edgar made a very important point at the beginning of the conversation that
water and
contaminated.
Drink. So
people, it's psychological.
That's why I'm saying that. Listen, I mean, the Chinese drink, eat, sleep their own.
Well, that's a fact.
You understand? The Americans, in as much as we don't like Donald Trump, he was about everything American. And that nationalistic approach, we need to push it a little bit in our country, where we are for our own. Our national flag,
but I want to just
our flags are even imported.
No, let me just...
The flag, our own Ghana flag.
Oh, the red, yellow, blue.
We import it.
Look, let me tell you.
And these are things that we need to make deliberate.
There's one other thing that you need to understand that is very important. It is not a question of we not liking the made in Ghana stuff per se, but it is also the money that is coming out of your pocket. You want to be comfortable that you've bought the right
value.
Yeah, you see, no. So what happens is that at times our packaging and our everything is also
unattractive.
Yes, it puts people off.
We need to push hard.
You see, so that I just give you one typical example. I say if you go to the supermarket and you want to buy a tin of Milo, when you see a one that is dented, definitely you won't buy. You see, so at times the way it's not attractive to you.
But I really think that, packaging, marketing is all still important.
It is, because
and as part of my case is that we need to just make sure that we package ourselves well, but the onus lies on us. We should want it.
Have we been supportive?
We should want it.
Have we been supportive?
We should
enough?
want it. You understand? We should want our Ghanaian-made things.
Have we been supportive
Very
enough
important.
of local entrepreneurs? Have we been supportive?
I mean, imagine if I travel from UK, I arrive at Kotoka with no suitcase, and then I tell my relatives that, let's go to Accra to buy things. Yeah, I buy me. You understand? I mean, they will insult you. But I've come with pound sterling, and I'm like, you know what? I didn't buy any shoe. I didn't buy any shada from,
Ghana.
I'm coming here Momienko Tema Station, Namenko Togana near Mamamu. Aye, then that way, you know, my family will, you know, abandon me. I'm just saying. But this is a proposal to the expatriates because they are also the biggest importers of things from outside.
But you know the funniest thing?
You understand?
It is actually very when you buy things from here and you sell them abroad, you know it's very expensive.
Of course, yeah.
I'm shocked that we don't even see that our things are even more expensive than the things that I'm telling you. Everything sold in dollars.
You understand? Yeah. So I really think that
I'm telling you.
There are
the Ghanaian designers and things.
We need to push
when they sell them in the UKs and things.
We need to
it's 100 pounds.
Of course, well, you know, but you see, the point is this: that it is not a question of the over 100 pounds. You see, one of the things you also have to look at the purchasing power. The kind of monies they have it is easy for them to spend on some of this because you can't come and you can't sell that same thing.
So we should eat our own. We should eat our own.
Grow our own domesticate.
You know, we should eat our own.
All right.
Understand?
Dr. Advocacy, thank you.
Yeah.
Dr. Rash.
Yes, I do support the concept of getting Ghanaians to patronize our own, to make our own, to feed ourselves, and do anything that is, you know, which roots can be taken from Ghana. Why don't we continue to support Safo, what's his name? Kantanga, to do his cars so we can buy more cars from Ghana?
Has done that.
Why don't we try hard to make sure when you talk about our flag being imported from China,
and even
why you not?
It's embarrassing.
Why wouldn't you tomorrow take money and set up a factory that does only our flags or flags and others? Why don't we get somebody to do the toothpick which we buy from outside?
No, but even the toothpick we are talking about, toothpick has a price. Toothpick has a price.
Yes.
May say panier, needle.
Yes.
When you go to Accra town, 20 Ghana, they will give you one whole box. Even that bottom practice is here. Now per panier crack, that one you have to import.
Yes. So I'm saying that
needle.
We
that's
know
a toothpick program your price.
We know the problem, but we often think that somebody else will solve it.
We'll solve the problem for us, yeah.
So we ourselves, when we talk about Ghana not doing this, we are saying, Rashid, we are not doing it.
Business.
When you are saying, why do we bring our flags from China? We are saying, Kwame, you are not doing it. You know, so we must develop the concept of individual commitment, initiative, and drive in our educational setup. The education we set up today is simply to say that, look, just copy.
Fantastic points. Very, very fantastic.
Thinking is not part of the education we do. Creativity is not part of it.
Innovation is not part of it.
So the nation itself is a beggar. Every single time we are begging Europe to give us money.
Ghana beyond aid. Ghana beyond aid.
Very, very manifest. When you mention a dry bones, you know, the old lady cries.
You see what is interesting with this?
We are very...
Ghana beyond aid.
Oh, Dr. Doggy, let's
no. Wait.
He's making a very important point. Let him
that is why
manifestation.
That is why I love my boy.
I know. Let him make yes, that's all right.
Is it the manifestation of our failure? Can be categorized along the line from independence,
basically,
but much more categorized. Plainly categorized in this government, that they cry about somebody's borrowing. They have come to make all their money from borrowing, and it is serious. And it has gone to the extent that 80%, more than 80% of our GDP, our borrowing is the rate is 80% of our GDP.
Absolutely.
Which is terrible. And that is Africa, and that is the Ghanaian euro. So we need to make sure that you know, we clearly develop an economy, develop the mentality of the person. The fact that I listened to Dr. Kisi when he talked about the fact that if Ghanaians don't pay, it is because of our thinking, it's not government. And it's similar to saying that fix yourself, don't the economy.
Oh.
You see, it's very similar.
Oh.
You are saying that. No, it is simply. But it's important.
I didn't mean that. If that's how you feel, I'm sorry.
Look, my tea is finished.
But it's important for us to know that
producer, my
policy
tea is finished.
Definition of policy, enforcement of the laws are critical.
Right.
When you are government and you are given the mandate, make sure the laws are followed, you enforce them, you define policy, you get people to see to them and follow them, and then you will get everybody moving. If we give you all our burdens to carry because we vote for you, then you turn around to blame us for not doing something. You are the one that is not doing it. So we need to.
Thank you. We are going to Parliament because it appears that the president is, almost there.
Oh,
thank you guys for your time. I don't want to bore you. I'll see you guys tomorrow. The MPs have to run. Motorcade, bye bye. I'll see you tomorrow. Bye.